All right. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Coach's Box. As you can see, it's just the three amigos this evening, and we are Chris Millerless this evening. Hey, Jason,
Yes.
what do you think Chris is doing right now?
Sleeping.
Sleeping? I don't know. Riley?
He's big time.
He's too good for us. He crosses the Merrimack. He
I mean, he went up there with old Jim Powers, has a show with Jim Powers.
He's too tired.
Too busy, tired. Jimmy and him must have hung out a little afterwards.
He's too big time for us now. Isn't it about right?
I mean, I know you took a lot of slack for not being here.
Yeah.
A lot of grief
for
for not being here.
Yeah.
And,
Literally, yeah.
the creator
of
the great creator, maybe we should call him. I don't know. I'm at St. Pius. That's probably kind of not right to be saying.
You're in a special place.
I'm at a
St.
religious
Pius.
school saying the great creator and not talking about the actual great creator. I'm talking about Chris. But, yeah, he kind of bailed on us.
Man, maybe his shoestring's gonna break here a little bit. But no, I don't. Hey, he goes up to the Merrimack one time, and we'll make do. So
What was the joint that was at?
The 09 pub.
The
09 pub.
Off Hampton Avenue there, South City.
Did he get lost? I bet that's what it was.
Maybe he's still
He does all
lost.
this Instacart. He does all this stuff, but he probably got
Must
lost.
not have had his GPS on.
Yeah, there it is.
So, this evening, got some stuff that we want to talk about. Let's get right into it here. So, Kevin, he did a version of, what do we call it, the Miller's Minute or something like that, and he was kind of talking about the health of the students, the mental health. I wanted to kind of maybe shift the perspective in this first little bit here, since we're all parents. He brings up the idea of coaches and mental health in the athletes. I mean, we're all coaches. I kind of want to see about us as parents. I mean, we all have kids that are involved in whether it's high school athletics, junior high athletics. But I kind of wanted to piggyback off of what Kevin was saying and kind of get our perspectives as fathers and what's our role. You know what I mean? And so what Kevin kind of talked about was all of the issues that are going on in the NCAA with student athletes kind of taking their life over the last several weeks. And I thought, as a dad, I mean, these are conversations that we've got to have. These are kind of hard conversations. So, I mean,
Where's the background noise coming from?
That's why I can't hear it.
So,
From there.
So Jarvis, what do you kind of think here as we go through? I mean, you've got two kids in high school. Is that something that maybe you've worried about their mental health as an athlete, as a student athlete, and then kind of how do you balance that being a coach and a father?
I mean, I've been blessed as far as I know that my two kids have not had any issues with that. We don't. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't talked a whole lot about their mental side of their health. I would hope that they have a good enough dialogue with me and their mother and their stepdad and their stepmom that if they did have issues that they could come to us. And with everything that's happened with COVID and the way school is and the way college was and the way sports have been, and I think schools and athletic programs across the board are battling these mental issues. The anxiety thing is one thing. I feel like kids today feel a lot more pressure than what maybe they did back 20 years ago.
Maybe when we were in school. What type of pressure? I mean, because I hear that, and we're all teachers, okay? And
well, I think a lot of it has to do with this right here, and media pressure and peer pressure and phone pressure, and I mean, you do something stupid and the whole school knows by second hour, or you did something on the weekend and it's already maybe 2 hours later. If you did, someone had a camera out and caught that. Yeah, everyone knows. It's not like, I passed a note to the hot girl in math class, and then it took,
Yes or no?
put a check yes
Not
or
only
no
no,
on
heck
her.
no.
Hell no. But, I just think that everything is so instant and everything is so fast that, I don't think the kids changed. I don't think that we've changed a whole lot. I just think our world has changed so much.
Riley, what do you think?
Well, I mean, Jason said it. I think this has really affected a lot of it. The technology and the social media side of things. And I mean, we don't live in a world that is, made simple. Everything you do out there you're criticized for everything you do, every step you make.
I want to
mistakes.
Remember that because I
especially.
want to ask. I want to ask, but keep your thought going.
Yeah, like mistakes or anything. I mean, and these kids are obsessed with hot streaks on Snapchat, and they're obsessed with how many likes they get now. And all this.
Now, does that go into? Because I'll be honest with you. My kid is in junior high, and there's none of that, none of the socials. I just don't see the need for it. But I mean, you guys have older kids, and my question would be, how much is that ingrained into maybe their self-worth? Is that a big part? You just said it. How many likes am I going to get? How many shares or followers are that? Is that part of the issue?
I totally think it is. I think part of the issue is these kids have put. And it's not that I think that people are putting pressure on them. I think the kids just put so much pressure on themselves. They're so worried about what everyone else thinks.
Right.
And I can remember doing some stupid crap when I was young, and I just didn't really care about what everyone else thought as much. I mean, yeah, I did, but I don't think I did to the extent because, I may have done something. I lived out in Hematite, man. There wasn't much.
Rural, right?
Yeah, I mean, there ain't much to do there, bro. I was lucky I lived next to the Surdykes, man, and I got to ride four-wheelers and stuff, and I hung out with them a lot, and, I was never inside. I was never a phone. I mean, gosh, you had
that
your
didn't
mom and
exist.
dad could pick up and listen to you on the phone. I didn't want to talk on the phone. There's so many things out there that have just changed the speed at which information is given, and I think it's just changed the way kids perceive themselves because of the instant. I mean, they want it this instant.
Damn. And I think that what you said, when we were younger, and even maybe 15 years ago, I think the biggest thing about it is when you do mess up, there's always somebody around to video it, to tell somebody about it, get on this phone and social media, tweet it out, everything, and all of a sudden what was something maybe very small has now become something very big, and the pressure is felt. Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with the way kids react to everything.
And I think kids worry. I mean, I didn't have to worry about my parents having Life 360 on my car and to know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And, I know how many times Dylan looks at, I can see he's gotten on his phone while he's driving. Or I could see how fast he drove from point A to point B. So I'd have been in some deep crap.
Yeah.
If mom and dad, when I took the old 71 Chevy of dad's out and burned rubber 100 feet in it and brake torqued it and everything else. I don't know why the engine blew up. But anyway,
I don't know, Dad.
It overheated on the way home from school, Dad. I don't know. That had something to do with that 100-foot black mark I put up there by the high school. But, I look at all the things now that kids, man, and I wasn't worried about my ACT score. I know my daughter is she's a freshman, took it as a 7th grader, got a 17, and I can't imagine how she'll be next year to take it because she's going to want to take it as a sophomore.
Right.
And, I mean, she puts a lot of pressure on herself about her grades, her scores, and what she's going to do and all the things she's involved in. I don't remember being like that.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. So when we're talking about from the sports world and the student athlete, you said you don't remember that. And this is you brought this up, and I kind of want to ask. Do you think how the parents have been and how they've treated their athlete, their son, their daughter, when it comes to sports. And what I mean by that is maybe it's not now. Maybe it's not now for you. Maybe it was Little League when they were 5. Maybe it was T-ball, and parents maybe trying to live vicariously through their kids. Because whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's been baseball, I mean, I'm sure you're doing the select circuit. You know, you do select circuit have you ever sat back and looked as a parent and you see parents grabbing their kid, kicking buckets, doing all kinds of yelling at them. I mean, they're not even in the car yet, and I can't believe you did this, that, and the other. Well, I've seen it in football, I've seen it in basketball, seen it in baseball, and is that the pressure? Are we doing a poor job as parents? And is that something that is ingrained in them at such a young age, now that when they are upperclassmen in the collegiate level, that, oh my gosh, every little thing matters, and I don't know how to deal with it?
Well, I do think that has a lot to do with it. And I think that the biggest thing about it is the pressure is not just felt in one direction, where maybe when we were younger, it was really the pressure of our parents, because that was the only person we really had to answer to. Now they've got to answer to everything under the sun when it comes to this, and so now there's much more pressure to have an answer to every single thing you do. And I feel like the biggest issue that I think kids have to deal with now is the way you respond to things sometimes is even worse than what you actually did. And I think it just becomes more and more of an issue. And I think that the parenting side of things has become a lot more, I think, difficult, is because now these kids have so much pressure with outside forces that as parents, if you're constantly either want to go on the easy road and letting them kind of do what they want, or going the hard road and keeping them a tight ship, I think you become, I think the pressure is on them so much more because they don't know which way to go. And I feel like there's just no boundary.
I just think there's a lot of, I don't know how to say this. People don't know how to deal with failure as well as they did in the past, I don't think. I mean, losing was, I hated losing. I still hate losing. I despise losing, especially if I lose to Miller.
Who's that?
And it makes me ill.
Do you know who that is?
It makes me like I apologize to my family like the next day after a bad loss.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know that our kids are allowed to fail enough anymore.
I mean, that, you talk about.
And so then when they do, and then when they get to college and they have that first major failure, I think it pushes people over the edge sometimes, because I've never failed before. Everything's been handed to me. I've went through everything and everything's went well, and then, oh my God, I have something happen wrong.
I think that's the biggest thing that as a coach that we have to do is we got to let kids have the opportunity to fail and make them understand the importance of learning from failure. And it's okay if you fail. It's not the end. It's not like everything's over with now. You failed, so you can't do
I don't know. I just think there's so many things into the anxiety, the emotional, the stressors. I'm sure we all felt stress as kids with certain things, and and trying to be in the popular crowd or be in this crowd or doing that or this, and it's scary to watch and to see that. And
too scary.
I mean, there was suicide and stuff going on back then. It wasn't as publicized as it is now either.
You didn't know about it unless it would happen
in your community.
Yeah. Now it instant. It's an instant situation, and I think that's the biggest issue is you fail, everybody knows about it. When you failed when we were younger, only the people that were around you knew, unless you said something or someone that was there said something. I think now it's just automatic. I mean, everything.
Well, and if you fail big,
Oh gosh, it's
And, I mean, think about it. You get arrested in Jefferson County, all right? You're going to probably, if it's a Jefferson sheriff, you're going to be on an app, and your picture's going to be posted with your name.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It may not say what you did, but you're going to be on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think, gosh, technology is great, but gosh, dang it.
Could be
I
things
wish
that-
for 7 hours of a day I wish the kids couldn't have it. I wish we could. The phones are just, it's out of control.
And speaking of that, so we've had some schools in the St. Louis area have basically taken phones away from
Well,
schools and
Stillville
classrooms. Yeah.
did it, and Stephen Vetter is their principal, who was my assistant principal when I was at Potosi.
Ah, okay.
And he may not even remember me, but I saw and read that article. I'm like, look at Vetter go, man. He said, no more phones. Charleston did it down south. No more phones. I'm like, awesome.
And I want to know how that is going, and I want to see some results of something.
Oh, I want to see the data. I want to see
Yeah.
if it's been better for them. I mean, I know when
Well,
I don't know.
disciplines in the classroom down. You know, that's one. I think that's something that's
I
measurable as a
hate
teacher.
watching.
You know,
Sometimes, I got a master's degree. I got it in education. And I've always thought, man, I need to go get my administration. I think maybe my last few years I'd want to. And I see what our administrators deal with on a daily basis,
No
and
way.
it is mainly this right here, man. And that's the root cause of most of
Oh,
it.
I'd agree.
Oh, scary.
Well,
I mean, I doubt we get any text or anything from Miller tonight.
No.
He's so
Who knows?
busy.
yes, kids.
do you think he's being wined and dined by St. Louis? You know, all those rich folk up in St. Louis across the Merrimack. Or
Well,
what?
maybe there's another private school up there courting him.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Who
Courting
knows?
them. Hey, breaking news! You heard it here first on the coach's box. Maybe he's getting courted.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Hey.
Going to court or being
Oh,
Hey,
check
No.
that app.
But you were
He hasn't
talking.
even responded on anything.
No,
yet.
he's not listening in. Hey, next week Jarvis ought to say, "Did you watch the show?" No, then I don't want to ever hear you gripe about
That's
you
right.
know.
I know. Man, he's on me. I don't like to watch myself on
Right.
camera.
Right.
And I know you guys, a bunch of people are watching going, Jarvis loves this.
He
I
loves the spotlight.
love being on the show, and I love being here and hanging out with the guys and talking about stuff. But I don't know. I don't like talking in front of my peers. I don't like talking now. Getting up in front of a class of kids is great.
Yeah.
So I was talking to a buddy of yours that you taught with at Crystal for a
Ken
while.
Jones, yeah, go ahead.
And, but I don't know that he watches the
drop.
show or not.
Oh,
He's one of those hidden viewers.
He's
but
got a
Is
secret
Valroy's wife on here right now? But go ahead.
he said, he goes, man, I never would have expected Jarvis to get in front of any camera and sit and talk in front of a camera for an hour and a half, 2 hours. He said he used to be the guy. He just was great at doing what he was doing, but getting in front of a big group of people that wasn't 10 or 12 kids or 10 or 12 people, he said, boy, he was struggling with that. He says, I'm just truly impressed with Jarvis.
Oh, I completely do not like it. I mean, I completely embarrassed Jill at the at our boys' basketball
Oh, did you?
banquet.
Did you
because
say, "Hey, you've been shooting threes"?
No,
Was he here?
No, I made a description of one of our kids, and I said, "This is the type of kid that if Jill was dating,
And
this
she
is
turned
this is the type of kid I would want my daughter to date." And then everybody's like, "Oh!" And the guy and the player I was talking about, his girlfriend was there too. And so it was like I wasn't saying I wanted him to date my daughter. I was saying that's how great
that's
of
the character.
character
Yes.
that kid had, and it just came out completely wrong. And I've gotten a lot better, but I just speaking in front of my peers, if we've been doing this thing for the social studies department, writing this curriculum, they keep telling us they're going to send it off because we did this great work and they want us to present. And I'm like, no, I'm not presenting. I'll sit
You'll
back
be
and be
sick that
I'll be
day. You
I'll be
going to run the board?
No,
Is that what you're going to do?
I'll just be the one that looks good in the camera, and you guys will do all the talking. But
Slide, click, click.
Click, click.
man, it's a hard world. I thought. I mean, recently, my newest son, Weston, is 5 months old. Going on 6 months old, and I thought, man, it's gonna be so much harder for him. I'm telling you right now,
Just to navigate.
if this would have been around for me,
Yeah, but bad.
it'd have been bad news.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree.
And not that I did bad things, but just this would have. Just some of the things that kids do, and now it's
Sure.
on film. It's just.
When you talk about kids being kids, they don't know any better. You know what I mean? We as coaches, we get frustrated. Why aren't you doing ABC? Why are you doing XYZ? And then you got to stop and you think, they're just 16, 17, 18-year-old
we got
kids.
a comment on here. It says, I would be in favor of taking the phones away. They can call mommy from the office phone.
It's a true statement, though.
Yeah, you got.
I mean,
How many times have you had that happen, Zach? Have said, maybe not here at Pius, I don't know, but like at the Benny Public Schools that I've. Well, it's my mom that texts me. Well, you're in class. Text her at lunch. Text her in the hallway.
Well, they think that's okay because that's their parents, and their parents have the right to talk to them anytime they want. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think you see in these schools take away phones.
Oh,
They're
my
sitting
God.
there.
You could get me on a whole other level where
Well,
you
and
just said that about they think that that's okay. Oh, you mean privileged? Is that what you're getting at?
Well,
Privileged?
Entitled?
Entitled?
Maybe, yes. But I
I'm
think
torn. Now hold on, Tom. I'm torn. I'm gonna try and poke the bear.
Oh,
here, right?
here we go.
No. Because as a teacher, I do not want phones. I don't like phones. But as I've said for the last umpteen years, is it a mountain? I'm willing to die on?
No.
Not at all. But as a parent, if I need to get a hold, of Ethan and be like, hey, this is the change of plans tonight, or hey, blah 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 blah. I mean,
So and so's picking you up, or
so-and-so's
so-and,
picking
yeah.
you up. I mean, when you have multiple kids, we just have the one, but it's like, hey, go pick your brother up, go pick your sister up, or hey, hey, on your way home, go to the store and get that. I see that. I understand that. My problem is when it's 60 minutes, 60 minutes in a 45-minute class, you're on this thing.
60 minutes and 45 minutes.
That's the issue as a teacher, because then it comes back. Why aren't they learning anything? Well, because they're
Look
in
at this. We get rid of Miller.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about sports, really. I mean, we're talking about stuff that, that relates.
Life-
Everyone can relate to this,
life-changing,
this phone stuff. And
And I think when you guys say that, I think the biggest issue, and maybe this is a good reason why, education is having a hard time keeping teachers, one, or finding teachers, two, is because that is exactly what it is.
Go look at all the openings.
I mean, it's crazy. And the problem is, I think as teachers, you can't teach anymore because you have to worry about so many other things.
I've talked to some administrators, not even in our district, that were talking about, hey, like one administrator, they had a history position. He goes, Jarvis, it's not like when you were looking for a history job and we had 90 applicants. He goes, the applicants just aren't there. And he goes, so then you're looking at the quality of applicants, and you only got 30 to choose from. Back when, 10 years ago, we would have had 95, 150 maybe for one position. I met with a Maritime. I don't know if you got – Maritime does a lot of stuff with retirement for teachers, and I met with Aaron Bealey, who works down there. There's some other people that were formerly educated. Rich Grauer works for them. They got a bunch of former educators that work for them. They help with teacher retirement. I went down there to see, hey, when could I retire? And
did they look at it and say, wait, you just had a kid? Nope, you ain't retiring anytime soon.
Well, I'll retire and do something else. But,
right, yeah.
But they said alarming numbers of people that are getting out at 22 years, at 25 years, at I get
You're
out.
not even getting invested in.
You mean I get out at 25 and get not as high as I would if I stayed to 30, but it's still a pretty good pension. People are doing it. People are like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And they're going to go do something else and be able to provide a little bit of whatever
Yeah.
else they have and be able to.
And people are, but I mean, that's hard because you don't get into education because of money.
No.
And you don't, and I know
do
what
the
a
retirement.
lot of people say, well, June, July, August. Shut up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have no idea.
No.
And, but it's an alarming rate that teachers are getting out. And not even teaching. Look at, well, umpires
I
can
was
be
gonna say, that's gonna be our next
umpires,
segment. That's gonna be-
coaches,
that's gonna
and
be our
people aren't
next
wanting
segment.
to coach multiple sports anymore because, I mean, there's just so many demands. I'm not just a coach. I'm a psychologist. Sometimes I'm a dad. Sometimes I'm a mom. You're everything.
All of it, all the above. And I think the biggest issue that you have to deal with that is here once again you've got educators that are getting out earlier, or maybe even been in it for less than 10 years and you're getting out of it because it's just not what they wanted to do.
I've seen some people that have gotten out at semester, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like
yeah.
middle of the year, not even finished your year, man.
And
And you're like,
it's
wow.
a whole
Well,
different
but
animal.
what did we start the show with? We were talking about mental health, right?
Yep.
Did they teach you anything when you were in college about how to classroom management
Yeah.
with
Oh.
these things?
No, because when
no,
we went to school,
I've been doing this for 22
hold on,
years.
it was
Exactly.
it was a flip
I had
phone
a
for
bag.
me back then.
I had a bag
You
like
know?
this. My phone was in a bag.
So but right now, you guys are putting yourself out there to fail as a teacher because of this. And so you've had to jump through so many more hoops to try to
Well,
get
and even
the
if you
the
are,
curriculum done.
even if you were taught, it's not necessarily the teacher that you can only do so much. It's the people above you that got to do something once it gets to be in a
Correct.
major issue. And
You
I don't know.
Yeah,
It-
it goes back. It really everything's always going to go back to culture, right? It's going to go back to what's the culture of a specific school, what's the culture of a specific community, what do they find as being important, and then from there, whether it's education, whether it's athletics, whatever the case may be, if they put an emphasis there, then that's what's going to excel.
Well, when I was interviewing, because I got riffed at Crystal and lost my job, and then and was tenure, and that doesn't happen often. I mean, you really got to screw up, and
You didn't, just for the record, you didn't screw up.
no, I didn't screw
No.
up. You really got to screw up, or what happens is the school loses its population, or
That's what
because of another school being
reduction in force.
Yeah,
for people
like-
that don't know.
I mean, we went from 300 something students to 100 something at Crystal in 4 years.
Yeah.
And so I was out there interviewing, and a lot of the questions you were getting, they wanted all this integrated. They wanted to ask you if you use the phone, how you use the phone with kids, how are you going to do the computer, what technology are you going to bring in? And now I'm seeing many of my colleagues, and not just at our school and others, that they're trying to get away from using the computer, using the phone, because kids have found all the ways. There's so much more. Okay, I might be entertaining. I might be funny. I'm okay, funny, maybe okay, but I can't outdo this.
No, you're right.
I can't outdo TikTok.
Right.
I mean, I love TikTok. I think TikTok's hilarious, but I can't outdo this in the classroom. And so, this is a hard battle right now. I think
Very.
this is the biggest problem in schools. Period. Right now.
Well, it goes back to the
I don't care
value.
what anyone says, and they can argue with me. I put it on here.
Yeah.
But these phones,
Because it changes. It changes what the value of getting an education means. It started with when we're in school, and before then, it's always been about, hey, you've got to work, you've got to do hard so you can go to college, so you can get a quality job. And now it's like it's not there to sit here and say, hey, I value my education. I want to invest in my education because I want to invest in my future.
Right.
Because of this, and you just said it, it's me, now. We get the kids cannot see 3 foot in front of their face.
well, I don't even know. I mean, if I was in school right now, I'd probably go to trade school or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the kids that I've taught, and I taught at some schools where blue collar. I mean, Crystal, I most of the people are blue collar. I taught at Perryville. I taught at Farmington. I taught, and I see former students of mine. They're making double, triple what I'm making right now. They're sitting pretty. I'm struggling to feed myself usually, and I'm like, gosh, dang, what, I don't know that. I think schools are getting even away from, hey, you all need to go to college.
Oh, it's been like that for, I'd say, almost 10 years
Yeah,
now.
10 years now.
When we first started, I know 17 years ago.
When we were in school, what were you told?
College.
You got to go to college.
You have to go to
You
college.
are not going to have a good paying job if you don't go to college.
Because you have to get a bachelor's degree, because that you won't get hired without a degree to get a decent paying job. Then it became, well, and like it is now, it could be college, it could be career, it could be military, trade school, this, that, and the other. I mean, and that's fine. And we've adapted as educators, and that's perfectly fine. Go out and, like we tell the students, go out and do something that you love to do, because you're going to do it for the next 30, 40, 50 years. So might as well be something you enjoy.
And I don't want people to think they're watching the show. Look at this, educators and coaches just I'm not bashing education. I love my job. I love working with kids. I had probably – it helps that we won a lot this year, but I had one of the most enjoyable basketball seasons I've ever had. There's good days and bad days in every job. Absolutely. And, I when I went to the retired guy yesterday at a Maritime, I could retire now. Mm-hmm. I could retire 3 years from now and be done. And be done.
Do it.
But I don't see me doing that. I like what I do, and I love working with kids, and it's so rewarding when you see these kids now. I got so many kids I taught at Crystal, and I talk a lot about my days at Crystal because, dude,
it was a good time, man.
It was the best time of my career.
I remember subbing. I remember subbing out there.
This is the second best period of my career right now is at Herky, but my best time so far as an educator was when I was at Crystal, and I'm friends with some of those students now. They're I bought my car from one of my former students. I've gotten baby clothes for Weston from former students of mine because their kids have grown out and they're like, Jarvis, I got all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's why I'm in education.
Well, that goes right there that talks about the relationships that you've built with your students, with your athletes that you had.
Yeah, and I don't want we're being kind of negative about the phone and everything. I don't want to think. I still love my job. I love doing this, but dude, these things.
It's Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah,
it is.
Thank God I'm going on a diet on Monday because this week has been nothing but food. Dunklin R5 and Dr. Freeman and our student council and everyone, they've taken care of us food-wise this week. It's been donuts, it's been pastries, it's been Pasta House, and today it was La Brisas. Sorry, La Pachanga, it was free. I would definitely go to La Pachanga first.
Well, and I'll tell you what was, and another thing is it's not only just your Board of Education.
They
community.
Did it all.
People are bringing from the community. Parents are bringing in stuff.
Teacher Appreciation Week's been awesome.
It's awesome to see though that there still is appreciation for what you guys do, and I can't say it enough. What you guys deal with on a daily basis has to be, just basically a tough situation because nowadays everything you do is scrutinized by somebody.
Yes, but and I still look at it. I think one of the toughest things we do as educators, and sometimes you go home and you're just, when you find out some of the situations some of these kids are in.
Oh, that's it.
And then you go, well, no wonder you're acting the way you are.
Right.
Or no wonder you're having issues with this, that, and the other. You're like, because some kids, you got that relationship and they tell you, and you're like,
yep.
It puts things in perspective, and you're no longer are you worried about being advanced or proficient on a state
or
exam.
no longer am I worried that kid might be on the phone today.
Yeah.
There might be a reason why that kid's on. It's just all relative. This is a great profession. I don't think we get paid enough. They're trying to do a lot of things. The state of Missouri is one of the worst when it comes to teacher pay, and I've seen a lot of stuff about that. They're trying to work on those things, and it's a lot.
It is.
Well, and I don't like talking about mental health, man.
No,
it's tough.
Well, you were talking about umpires and all of that and some of the pitfalls. Why don't we take a short break, and then when we come back, we can talk about, we had a big email yesterday about umpire shortages and how it's affecting
Well,
our
my
area,
son, and
that's what I wanna talk about.
we'll get into it when we come back from break.
So
All right.
Riley takes out.
We've been watching the Coach's Box. We'll be right back.
Whether it's residential or commercial, Home by SMCI has the right products for you. Global Plasma Solutions will attack your bacteria, mold, viruses, and even help with dust in your house. They install easily in less than 45 minutes, and it's invaluable for the rest of your life. If you're interested in any of the products they offer, give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Wiley Agencies has 2 locations in Festus and Hillsborough to serve you. We offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and much more. We offer a customized approach unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. We also offer great rates and savings. Give us a call today at 636-764-6294 for the Festus office, or 636-333-9903 for the Hillsborough office to do an insurance review or just talk sports. If you don't have time to call, feel free to email Sean at seanwiley@allstate.com.
No time to eat in? No problem. Don't feel like cooking? We'll do it for you. Need wings for your party? TJ's Bar and Grill has got you covered. TJ's is a local mom and pop establishment in Peevely, Missouri, known for their own homemade pizza sauce, barbecue sauce, and their famous TJ's wing sauce. Open 7 days a week, they are family friendly, biker friendly, and locally owned. Come by or order by phone with your credit card at 636-475-3648. TJ's Bar and Grill. We're glad you stopped by.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let Kelly Kaufman move you. Kelly Kaufman of Real Living Gateway Real Estate brings a fresh approach with an honest, innovative, aggressive, and junk-free fee experience for all her customers. Whether you're a first-time buyer or an experienced seller, Kelly Kaufman has the tools to deliver the best client experience in the industry. Give Kelly a call today at 314-221-6090 and let her move you. Are you looking to buy or sell a home? If so, contact Stacy Miller at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Stacy works with first-time home buyers and savvy sellers. She also specializes in working with investors, lenders, and title companies. Stacy will be there every step of the way. Contact her today at 314-606-1007 or visit stacyzmiller.com.
Need to plan a trip, but don't have the time or know where to start? Vacations by Michael is here to help. Michael Hicks is a professional travel advisor and can help you with all of your travel needs, including vacations, honeymoons, and even family reunions. Contact Michael today for your free consultation at 314-496-6122.
Emex Transportation is a proud sponsor of the Coach's Box. Emex, the trucking company of small business.
The Coach's Box is proud to announce a new show called On the Move with the Caravan, brought to you by Scoops with Danny Mack and produced by TCB Productions. It's hosted by friend of the show, Jim Powers, and On the Move with the Caravan will be catching up with area coaches to talk about their teams as well as hot topics in prep sports today. So tune in for new episodes of On the Move with the Caravan.
All right, so we are back here on the Coach's Box, ready for our second segment of the evening. But before we do, Jason,
What do you think Chris is doing right now?
I think he's probably playing video games on the easy
Oh,
level.
it's got to be on the easy
Only way
level.
he's gonna do it. That's everything he does is easy. Don't you know?
Got to reset it. Got to reset it.
The easy level.
Oh gosh,
Man,
everything he does.
I just can't believe after all the heat he talks when someone else
Yeah,
bails out on an episode.
it happens.
Too big time for us.
I
was
mean,
gonna say.
I
Schmoozing and rubbing elbows with who knows who
I know.
up there.
him and Jim Powers are probably up there. And
He might be out in
what
San
was that
Francisco
place
in
at? 609. What was that?
The 09 pub.
Yeah, they're probably at the 09 pub watching the show, making fun.
You know what? He may be out in San Francisco on a plane to visit Danny Mac or
Oh,
something. Maybe
there we
that's what
go.
it is.
That's
Hey,
okay.
I mean, we've had more viewers in the last 20 minutes than you know. But anyway, I'm not gonna give him too much trouble here.
And Coach Winkler, he might be still watching Disney Plus, but he does that here at work all day.
He brought it up, and we didn't even. I had said that in the break. I said in the break. Well, I guess we could
Nice
say
one, Coach.
we
Nice
could
one.
say he's watching Disney Plus, and I was like, well, he does that all day at Pius. I was
He's
gonna,
saying-
you know, I mean.
Yeah, he's run out of shows.
I mean,
there's
he's got
nothing
to
to
run
do
out
right
of
now.
Disney stuff to watch. I mean,
No. He's doing those sing-alongs. You know, the 1980s sing-alongs that follow the bouncing ball. That's what he's doing now.
oh Miller,
Oh.
oh Miller.
Good times.
So
Times to be
the
had.
second segment here, I found it very, very troublesome that, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but I heard this, you know, the other day and saw it on Twitter and this, that, and the other about, hey, St. Louis area, it's coming. Baseball umpires, there's an umpire shortage. Get ready for freshman level, JV level, and even some varsity level games. They're going to wind up being canceled.
Right.
And
Yeah,
sure
lo and
enough,
behold, I mean, Herky had picked up a game to play at Oakville because everybody knows it's been raining a lot,
just
and
10, right?
it's been hard to play baseball unless you have a turf field.
Call to find out any team that's got a turf field.
Yeah.
So
say
what
you
you're
gonna
saying
play.
is we need to invest in ATG or somebody
Well,
that's turf field.
we need to get ATG. You know, Don would be a good guy to advertise on the coach's box.
It's
ATG.
cheap.
Yeah,
How much is
cheap.
it? How much is it, Riley, for a sponsorship here on
For
the coach's
one
box?
whole year, it is $190. I'll put it on the screen here. For the first month, it's $25, and then every month after that, it's $15.
$25.
So you could write a $190 check, right? I mean, come on, business.
$25.
$109, and you write it off.
Yeah.
And then, or if you want to do a 6 month, it's only $100. I mean, for a whole 6 months, I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
And now, I mean, we're expanding. We're going to have the Jim Powers show with Danny Mac, and there's some more advertising opportunities for your companies. And, we love our sponsors. I mean, La Pachanga, we talk them up, and Joel there at Herky. Sorry, we're partial to the Herky one. There could be it's funny. We're at Pius. Bringing that up. That brings this up. We're at time out, We're at Pius.
We are.
And this is a Herky. I almost said Jarvis led. This is a Herky led coach box. But we're on Pius campus because
What is today?
Cinco de Mayo. So we had
Mayo.
to have, we had to give Joel, the room. He needs that
Yeah.
big table.
Yep.
I might, if they're still open, I might have to go by there real quick, give them a celebratory toast of something. And then,
I agree. I think
Get
it's
some
I mean,
cheese dip or something?
Joel's a great sponsor of us and allows us to invade on his.
That's what it is. 2 years of invasion, It's-
Well, if I went back and looked at my bank account, I'd probably help pay for Joel's. If he has any young kids, whatever. I mean,
braces?
Today's gonna be the cheapest coach's box I've had in a long time. I mean, I found this somewhere, and then I didn't buy any food. So it's gonna be a great coach's box.
I think, when you say that, with Cinco de Mayo. So I went to dinner tonight at La Pachanga before
Imagine
the show.
that.
Shocking,
That's
right?
why, hey, we barely got on at 8 o'clock. Because this dude,
right
he's
here.
watching the video that Chris gave him so that he knew how to run the board.
That's right.
And
Coach
he's
is
watching it. He gets here 7 minutes before we're supposed to be on.
Hey, we went right on at 8
Smooth,
o'clock.
right?
Thank
Just
God
smooth.
Chris had all this set up already, because me and McVey would have screwed that up.
Oh, hey, I did. I tried earlier today before I left to go home after school, and I asked him, how'd I do? Not great. Well,
You had the 2 lights up.
exactly. That's
But
why. Hey, he's the creator. He's the producer. That's
The
his
great
baby.
creator of the Coach Box.
So I went there for dinner, and it was packed. I mean, it was 20, 30-minute wait to get in the door.
Oh, yeah, we got your message.
And
I
40
just got my food.
Almost
time you're supposed to be
45
here.
minutes to get my food, but which was, I mean, I wasn't upset. I mean, expected it was busy, and there was people waiting.
It's Cinco de Mayo.
You know what? It was just great to see that. To me, I mean, Joel has done so much, and you know, the last 2 years has really kind of affected the business side of any business. But you know, we've been firsthand to be able to see what La Pachangas went through.
Tell you what, I've supported them.
Yeah, we definitely
I have supported La Pachanga for 2 years straight.
Straight.
But it was
Straight
great to
through.
see, and you know, so speaking of that sponsorship, I mean, Joel, not only does he allow us to come and have his business,
He
and use his
advertises.
business, but he also does a year-long sponsorship with us, and just because he, you know, appreciates what we do for his business and getting it out there. So, you know, if you're a business or maybe you're just an individual that wants to, you know, give back, I mean, it's a great thing, and lots of people get out there and get your name out there.
Get your company on here. I'm going to
Hey,
have to hit up some people I know.
Because we are about 5 followers or less at this point from 1,500.
Yes, I think you're right.
1,500.
Might be pretty close to
Well,
it.
1,500, we got to put a pie in like Kevin's face, right?
Ooh, that sounds like a good idea.
How about Joel's face?
Oh.
That would be a good. We can get him
Man.
on. We can get.
Oh, my. You're doing that. I'm
No
not.
boss.
No
I'll work
boss. So,
I'll work on it.
So,
all right. There's some things going on in the major sports here in St. Louis lately, right?
We got it.
We got it. Hey. All right.
1,500. Thank you,
1,500.
Let's get that, Rick. That's huge.
Yeah?
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
I'm going to start with the Blues, and Zach's probably done then.
That's fine.
But I
we
want
kind
to
of
talk.
skipped over the ump shortage, but that's fine.
Let's go back to the ump shortage. My bad.
You know, so
Oh
hearing
yeah.
that-
So anyway, they had to cancel our game against
Oakville.
Oakville, and they first time I've seen it happen to
varsity.
Game.
That floored me. That floored me because, you know, yesterday we played St. Paul Lutheran down in Farmington, but it was an addition because once again the rain. So we were originally scheduled to go down there. That park was unable, you know, to get the field ready. So we said, hey, we'll try and get the field. And Coach Oliver, Coach Marino, and the parents do an excellent job of getting the field ready. And they're like, well, we have officials down there. I don't know who it is, if it's SEMO, if it's something completely different. So they traveled all the way down from Farmington on up and up here. So, you know, you're talking 40, 45 minutes that they weren't expecting. It's like, hey, well, you know, help you out for coming on up and helping us get a game in. And
Right.
I mean, as a player, as a teacher for 16, 17 years, I've never heard of that. And I was floored because it wasn't just Jefferson County. It was St. Louis area.
Yeah, and
Well,
you know,
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is how many times have we done a sporting event or been a part of a sporting event, and maybe something happened to one of the officials on the way there, or something happened, emergency, we couldn't get anybody, so you had to deal with one, but never was there just not anybody available. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Pat Burns put out a thing, and if you guys don't know, I mean, we know, and we had him on not too long ago on our show, and he provides a lot of the referees and umpires and things of that nature, and he put out a mass, basically a flyer out there to try to get more umpires, and a couple of my ex-players, I saw one of my ex-players, Ian Wisely, he's been umping some baseball games, and he's going to do his first high school game this week, I think, and we need to encourage these guys, especially a lot of these kids that are going to college that have played sports their entire life. I mean,
It's good money.
It's good money.
for a couple of hours of your time.
Yeah.
You get to stay around the game. You know,
You get to still chum it up with coaches and athletes, and you know, I know that people will say, "Well, there's some crazy parents." You know, you got to learn to tune that out. There's some crazy coaches.
Well, there's some
You gotta
crazy
learn
coaches,
that.
like coaches that aren't here right now that
Yeah,
might
yeah.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, they
something,
may slam a clipboard down or something, or
Never.
I don't know.
I
Not
feared for my
yet.
life that night. I
Not-
don't know about you,
Dude,
but I was
jumped.
scared.
I was watching it live on your guys', I think it was maybe your YouTube channel or whatever they got here at Pius, and
Bang!
bam! I was like, holy crap! And then
You could hear it.
Then I saw, oh wait, after shooting free throws. Uh oh.
What did Christopher do
Uh-oh,
this time?
spaghetti-o.
And he was just standing there like this.
Oh, and he talks about me with my arms crossed. That dude's arms were crossed tight.
They were.
Miller was ticked.
That was a bad week for him. You know, so considering that, you know, I think we've seen with the umpire and the official shortage. I think it's not only. I mean, you know, I coach, you know, youth baseball, and it's crazy because, like, for instance, last night we had an incident where the umpires, they only had one, and so that umpire was, you know, not expecting to do that game. They pulled him off of another field of a two-man to bring him down there to do our game. So we started 15 minutes late, and then, you know, we had one thing left after another, and then, you know, there was so many bang calls, and then you started getting parents upset and mad because,
At
you know,
that
I
point,
pay for that
right.
as a parent, and so,
I know.
you know, you're kind of in that long way where some of it is probably okay for some of these parents to be upset about that stuff, but then the other side of it is it's not fair to those umpires. They didn't choose to only have one person. And
Well, we
So-
went down to Kingston a week ago or whatever, and one of the umpires didn't show up. So you had a varsity baseball game, and the guy was calling everything from behind the plate. And
Really?
and it was
not
not
out from behind the
No.
pitcher's mound.
No,
that's
var-
what he
COVID?
did. No, that's
No.
what he did during.
it was a varsity game.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to call the balls and strikes probably from behind.
it'd be
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. You know, I've kid
Mm.
about, man, I could do that, but man,
There's a lot of rules.
a lot of rules.
There's a lot of rules.
And anyway, it worked out fine. The guy did a great job, and the AD from Kingston tells me, you know, that's the first time in 14 years I've had this happen, and I don't know what the other umpire got lost or something. Didn't figure out how to get there, and you know,
The scary thing is once in 14 years, it's probably going to happen 10 more times in the next year.
I just think about
Sad.
when we were growing up in high school, and I think some of the city schools still do this, looking at, you know, scouting and all of that. It was varsity. You were going, let's just say you were going to Crystal, okay? JV was home against Crystal, and so it was the same day, but you were
they
at
did
two
that when I
different-
first was at Herky. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
That's complete. At least down here in JCC.
Oh, now
and
you can't do
Intro-
that anymore.
Now, if that's numbers, because I mean, we've got large schools that have 19 kids in the program, is beyond me in the hotbed of baseball, which is Jefferson County, MAAA. How that happened? That's a whole other can of worms.
We
but
at our Herky don't have enough to have a full JV squad. We have like 18 or 19 kids and
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
mean, and so that's one thing, and then now we talk about official shortages and all of that. But I mean, it is just, it's a different dynamic than what it has been. I'm worried that that's going to carry into next school year, whether that's going to be fall sports, whether that's going to affect us in the wintertime. Because I don't know about you guys with basketball. With us in basketball, we saw in the 20 some odd games that we had, we saw officials I've never seen before.
Oh, goodness,
Ever
yes.
seen before in, like I said, 16, 17 years of coaching.
Oh yeah, I saw officials that I'd never. But maybe that's a good thing. We're getting some other ones in there. But I mean, at this point, I don't care who officiates my games as long as we get to have games.
At this point,
I mean,
yeah.
at this point, you can't you can't be picky and choosy about it. You just got to hope that you have officials for the game.
And I talked to a guy today that's been umpiring baseball and softball for, he said, over 50 years today. And he said, I gave up baseball. It's my first year. I haven't done baseball. I just did softball. And he said, it's so bad that I'm traveling. Like, he's like, I'm going down to Bernie, and then I'm going out to Rolla. He said, they got me going everywhere because everywhere is shorthanded for officials. So he's like, I'm just softball only. So I'm going anywhere and everywhere I can because they have so many umpires that they have to pull off softball games. Because softball is probably a little bit easier to call for one than it is for baseball.
And it's fast. It's
Yeah.
quick. It's
Yeah.
a
So,
shorter game.
I think that's probably a lot easier for people to do that.
Well,
So I think
I'm afraid in basketball next year we may see a lot more two-man crews.
That's probably coming.
And that's what kills me about when I had a shot clock.
can't happen.
No.
I don't see how we can do it.
What do we do as schools? I mean, baseball's already doing the varsity JV. Other sports like a soccer's doing. Are we going to wind up having to, because it's basketball? Because are we going to have to do quads 2 nights a week? Because that's when we can get officials. I don't know. So now,
Or you're going to see it go on to a simple thing of Friday and Saturdays.
Or Thursday, Fridays, yeah.
And I think you're going to see a lot more things being done on Saturdays because that's when some of these officials got jobs and they can't get off. They're off on Saturday, so hey, we're going to try to push everything to
I
Saturdays.
don't want any more Saturdays.
you
But
want Saturdays?
I think it's going to.
What?
I
You
think
don't
it's
want
going to go to that.
Saturdays?
No, dude. I'm at school enough.
But I think it's gonna. I think you're gonna start seeing it go
Well,
to that.
I don't. I'm striking it down and saying it's not going to happen.
Jarvis says no.
And we'll get the great creator of the show, Chris Miller, to strike it down too.
But I mean, it's.
Don't say that. I want more
Well,
Saturdays.
so
It's scary
you
to
know,
think.
some of the things at this point. I mean, I know we're a couple weeks away from the end of the school year and going into the postseason. I think at this point, we've had all this weather. If you've got a handful of games, kids, coaches, parents, just be thankful you get to either watch a game or play a game, and then hopefully.
Yeah, it's going
something
to be hard to
changes.
reschedule any games
Oh, yeah,
because
I don't know.
there's just not going to be the umpires to do it, and because they're going to already be assigned to games that day, and if you get lucky enough that it's a day that there wasn't many. Right now, there's not going to be a day that there's not games.
Right.
We're playing at 9 a.m. on Saturday to play our 7 for that third place of that tournament that was at the
At
beginning
least
of
you
the
get
year
to
or
play
whatever.
it.
Well, I know.
We don't even get to. Supposed to play in a first place game. We couldn't even play a first place game for a tournament
And so we're playing at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
because because those officials are going to have to jump.
Well, they're
someplace
probably
else.
going somewhere else later in the day. I don't know.
Man,
I just know that we're playing at 9 a.m. And at least we're getting the game in.
yeah.
If
Weather
Mother
permitting.
Nature doesn't get ticked off again,
I know.
Well,
And
let's
you're
go
also,
in.
the
Go
thing
ahead.
about that, but the other thing with officials and shortages, I mean, you're going to maybe see where, and I'm really hoping this never happens, but lower levels go into 2 quarters
Just to
just to
Yeah.
be able to get them some kind of minutes, but that officials can only
Man.
maybe they will do the JV and a varsity.
man, I didn't
Uh,
even think of that.
And I mean, it's probably something if we don't get something happening fast. I mean, I could see it happening like that. I mean, you're already seeing it with baseball. You're going to try to, if a place goes to a place and you're playing, a JV game, you maybe get 3 innings in before it's dark if they don't have lights.
Yeah.
So,
And honestly, we played our 7 the other night, and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna try to get a full game in," and we were like, "I don't want to be here till 10:30." Let's do 5, and if it's depending on time, and we got to 5, and it's like, hey,
We're good.
it's after 9 already,
Right.
and we've been here since 3, but
and there was, there's lots of talk about trying to, move things back to where officials can be there. So, like, a lot of the schools in the city start at 4 o'clock, 5:30. There was a proposals to push things back to starting time of 6 and 7:30, where where it allows it for outdoor sports, we have lights, or indoor, pushing everything back to later so people can get off work that can officiate or umpire to be there because they just don't have enough people.
I would be curious if it's other spring sports too, because I know going to as you know, the handful of track meets that I was able to go to this year to watch my son, it was the same starters.
Speaking of him, I got to see him finish that 800, that 4x8, and it was awesome to watch.
Oh yeah,
he ran that kid down about hurt from Herky. He was about a half a lap ahead of him, and he ran him down and ended up winning. And I went. Your boy was on the ground. He was dead. he gave everything he had, and I finally went up to him and I said, "How does it feel?" And he said, "I'm beat." And I said, "You finally figured it out?" And he goes, "Man, did I ever."
But
you know,
proud,
it was pretty awesome to see that. So give you props.
Did he beat a Herky guy?
Yeah, he did.
I don't like that.
I agree, but it was from a Festus. So, you know, you're an alumni, a little bit of Festus.
I'm an alumni for Festus, but I want them to lose when they're competing against Herky.
I agree.
I'm a Black Cat, bro.
It was a great race.
Once you're a Black Cat, you know, you're always a Black Cat. So,
it was a fun race to watch, but it was very competitive, and it came down to the last, last 10 meters.
Gosh dang Tigers.
Bang, bang, bang. So, but
he ain't going to be a Tiger too long, so it don't matter.
But with that umpiring stuff, you know, I think the biggest struggle that we're going to see is, and we hadn't even hit on maybe a little bit of the reason why we don't have umpires is maybe crowds getting into the game a little bit too much sometimes and critiquing or yelling or screaming or nonetheless fighting.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of
there's
that.
just so much of it going on. I mean, you see videos popping up left and right of.
But you go back to what our first topic was, and I don't want to diminish any of it a little bit, but once again, you just said getting yelled at. You know, having rabbit ears, and you're looking for the negativity, and you're looking for the comments, and then maybe not understanding that, hey, you're going into this, you're going to have a little bit of thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if he's yelling at you over there, it's not, you know, rainbows and butterflies. I mean, you're going to have some thick skin to talk to him or talk to Miller.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I was actually complimented this year about how I changed my ways.
Yeah.
One said official, but other than that, I've changed my ways.
Yeah, maybe that's what we have to do as coaches.
We beat this one enough. I can't talk about it anymore. It's depressing.
Well, but
let's go on to more depressing things like the Blues or the Cardinals.
Go into the Blues because me not being a hockey fan, I asked a legitimate question, and then it was, McVey, shut up. You don't watch hockey. Rah. So give us the Blues report here, Jarvis.
Well, the Blues Blues had a great 4-0 shutout, you know. Mm-hmm. Husos, first playoff game ever, and he gets shut out. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Then
kind of remember that going back a few years ago when the Blues won this down. I think Bennington's first game shutout.
Was it?
I
don't think it was.
I think it was.
They said it was the first Blues goalie I thought that ever did it.
Maybe so.
And his first ever playoff game. Anyway, pitch a shutout, win 4-0. We had the Wild wanting to start fights and everything else. They weren't even worried about hockey. They were trying to go.
Is that what you think Miller's doing right now? He's not at the show. He's trying to start fights somewhere.
Probably is.
Up there at 09 Pub.
Hey, man, you want to fight?
Hey, man. Look, my show's so good it goes on without me. I am the creator. Episode 106 on my command. You three go to Pius and you do the show. I said it. It will be done. So, Miller, yeah, whatever.
Who is it? Who is that guy?
Hey, look at that.
Did he stop commenting?
No.
Oh.
Is he watching?
But another Pius person commented and said, best show ever, probably because Miller is gone.
I would totally agree with that, Coach.
Eddie hit that on there. He is correct.
Oh,
I mean, anytime that Miller's around, I know it can be a good time sometimes, unless I'm coaching against him.
It
but
usually goes like this, and then
You just never know what mood that guy's going to show up in.
That is true. Sorry, Chris.
I
but
mean,
it's
hopefully
true.
he took his medicine is what we always think. But so then last night we go into the game and Letty, one of the defensemen, didn't play. Bartuzzo gets hurt. Scandella's hurt. The Blues have been dealing with this all year on the back end. What they say the back end, that would be the defensive end. I didn't know you're not a hockey guy. That must be you're getting soccer knowledge here from Kevin. But Kevin,
Ugh.
I said soccer.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Ugh.
almost threw up in my mouth. So they have a lot of injuries, and
How do they go from game 1 to game 2 and all of a sudden have a lot of injuries?
Well, they got hurt in game 1.
Okay.
I mean,
It was physical.
It was
Is it-
physical. There was a
Holy
lot of there's some dirty hits, I thought,
Okay.
going on. And that's the other thing they talked about. I heard Berube on 101 today, and they were asking him about one of the first questions Jamie Rivers asked him was about the penalties being called, because there has been a crap ton
I want to ask
of
about that. But go
penalties
ahead.
called.
Go ahead.
And he said, so was that – did they asked Berube, did they tell you before the series started that the NHL was going to start calling more? Because usually when playoff time comes, those refs, that whistle is swallowed, man.
Typically
And
it
there is – I mean, it has to be obvious. Someone's going in for a score and they get tripped or they get hooked or they get held.
Has to be pretty.
It has to be pretty blatant to be called, and I don't feel like it's necessarily been that way so far in this series, and there was a crap ton of
Well,
penalties
they said,
called.
listen to the radio, they talked about it was either 27 or 30-plus penalties between the
What-
two teams.
You know what? That
and-
sounds kind of like 39 to 10. Have you ever heard?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't like free throw disparity.
Oh,
no,
my
no,
bad.
No, it was like combined.
Yeah.
Combined. It wasn't like
I
the
was
Blues
talking about
had
disparity
right,
here.
Right, no.
I'm sorry. Just
Yeah.
that 39-10 is it's just hard to get out of my mind. But
So then let me ask this.
but
Okay.
they did what you want to do as the not home ice team. You want to split,
Okay.
and they got the split.
The Blues.
Yes.
All right. So here's my question, and my disclaimer is I know nothing about hockey, don't claim to. If you're the coach, you're the owner, you're the GM, and we just said game 1 there's a lot of penalties, or traditionally the
Both game. I mean, there's just a lot of penalties so far.
then why as a coach, why as an owner or GM, why would you not say something like, don't get penalties? I'm going to fine you if you get This isn't the regular season. Every game matters.
Well,
every
and
period
I mean, they're
matters.
saying that. They're telling them not to get in the box. And now the Wild, on the other hand, in game 1, I mean, after we were up, they were getting in the box. They didn't care.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. But, like, I don't think Shin meant to get that holding one or whatever he got last night. It was weak.
Was this?
I
was
thought
that
it was weak.
okay? Here's another thing I don't understand.
Interference.
You guys explain this. Viewers explain this. So this is what I don't understand. The plays. It's like football, right? You're going to call a block in the back or a holding or something that's 50 yards away from the play. You got these two guys, Blues in Minnesota, down here. The play is way down on the other end. This guy holds. This guy takes a stick like a baseball
Slashes.
bat and totally, hits him across the leg, and then they both get penalized for it. You're not even anywhere near the play. Why are you calling that? Why, as an official? It's not affecting anything.
Well, I guess they're trying to keep the game so that, players aren't getting injured. I think Tim Winkler brings up a good point. He says, I bet as the playoffs move on, the amount of penalties will drop.
Oh, sure it will.
Does that bode well for the Blues then?
It will help them,
I think so.
but it may slow their offensive guys like Kyrou and some of them down. But, we got to split, come back home. We had to bring up another defenseman that hasn't played in forever, Stanini or something like that. And so the Blues are reeling a little bit on the defensive side. Now, Perron had a hat trick in the first game, and then the Wilds, I forget his name, he had the hat trick last night.
Yep.
One of the viewers probably knows. I can't remember his name. I know Blues players, but I don't know the other
Nobody
teams
else's.
that well.
So why the difference? Like, to me, a 4-0 game one way and a 4-0 game or whatever.
6-2 last night.
6-2. That seems like a big point differential. Why the swing?
Well, the Wild were on the. They scored. They got a lot of momentum. They scored. Got a power play. Scored. I mean, it was like big momentum for them.
I mean, the first goal was
Well,
such luck with that.
we went to
stick
clear
breaking.
it out. It was a Bartuzo.
Yes.
I think it was Bartuzo. Stick breaks.
I mean,
And so when he went to clear it, the stick broke. He missed the puck. They steal it, and I mean, it was just like walking in. Score.
I mean, it was pure and just.
And then it just went down the turd hill after that.
quickly.
And
so
Blues are pretty good at bouncing back. I think the Wild, like Winkler says, they're really good 5-on-5. Like they keep getting in the penalty box. The Blues are going to make them pay.
Yeah.
And if the Blues can stay out of the penalty box and the Wild get in it, the Blues are going to have better chances.
I agree.
Because our power play's been hot, really hot, and you got Kyrou, you got Vladdy. I mean, Shin.
It seemed like there were a lot of radios talking about several different scoring options.
We have like 5 guys with 20 or more, or something like that, or 6. I don't remember, but it's like. Yeah, we got a lot of guys that can put it in the net, but so do they, and they have some speed. Okay. And I don't know. I think we're going to win the series, but
I don't.
As long as Husso still plays well.
Do you put Bennington in?
Nope.
Really?
No.
So 3 years. All he gets is 3 years after winning your first Stanley Cup.
Unless
ever.
Husso just bombs it up next game. Yeah. No.
I mean,
Husso's your goalie.
Really?
I think the big difference right now from game 1 to 2 was I think the Blues came out and punched the Wild in the mouth and was
in
physical.
game 1. Yeah,
it was very physical with the Blues. I mean they were very physical with the Wild, and I think the Wild wasn't expecting it to be like that. And I think they got punched in the mouth and didn't know how to respond. And then they came out with punched us right in the mouth real quick, and we didn't have any. Answer for it at all.
And the Wild were more disciplined than we were.
Much more disciplined, I agree.
And Tim Winkler is correct on that comment.
So what do they need to do going into Game 3 in St. Louis? What are the Blues? What's their keys?
Well,
to
the biggest thing, they got to stay out of the box.
Yeah.
They can't take penalties.
Hockey guy. To me, that seems like pretty straightforward. Just don't do anything.
Well,
it's kind of like waking up and not breaking the law. Like, just don't do it, right?
Well, it's a little easier said than done.
That's why I'm asking. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's just like Charger block. I mean,
really?
Sometimes the call goes against you. I mean, sometimes it's not called. I mean.
But I mean, if you're taking your stick and hitting somebody across the face with it,
well, that's different. But I mean, yeah, you can't take those anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I think that the Blues have to do is they've got to control the puck. Like, I mean, we didn't do a good job last night.
We didn't do a very good job in the first game. It was in our end. I mean, Husso had 37 saves.
I know.
Kind of like time of possession in football.
But then if you looked at our shots last night, I don't know what it ended up being, but
we had more shots than they did.
We had more shots than they did. Mm-hmm. You got to remember, they got Fleury in there at goal. He's won Stanley Cup 2 or 3 with 2 or 3 different teams. They brought him in for a reason.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think they had scored 4 goals on 8 attempts last night in the first 2 periods. I think they had 8 attempts, shots on goal, and they had scored 4 out of them. Almost 50%. Yeah. So, I mean, that was crazy. I think it was 4 for 9, actually.
Okay.
But they were talking about that.
So let me ask you this: is these high? To me, that sounds 4-0, 6-2. Sounds like high scoring. Because one of the things growing up, like, I don't want to watch hockey. I don't want to watch 0-0, 1-0 type games. It's just that doesn't excite me as a young kid. It's not entertaining. Is this normal now? Is this a shift in the sport that you're having higher scored games in the playoffs, or is it just it's just the styles of the teams?
I think it's styles, but you look across the board last night. I mean, it was 6. I saw 6-1, 5-2. I mean, I did see some high scoring games last night. So maybe it's.
Well, and the Wild scored 3 in the first period, and 1 at the very end. And then when the second period started, they scored one right 18:58.
Yeah.
I mean, or something. It was like,
Well, and I also do believe the way the game's being called, there's much more penalties, and I think there's much more advantages for teams to be able to pick at power plays, and teams are taking advantage of it and scoring. So that is a thought process, and I think in the way that the game's called compared to what it was last year in the postseason, that kind of changes things too, because that maybe changes the way teams play, and they have to go looking at it. If it's going to be called this way, we've got to be a little bit more, maybe less aggressive and more efficient, or more consistent, kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, the Blues, when they won the Stanley Cup, I thought they were much more physical than most teams, and they were able to use that physicality to wear teams down. That's why they went 7 so much, because they wore those guys down as they come to.
Well, and the Wild made big adjustments in Game 2. I mean, they killed 4 out of the 5 penalties they faced. They held Perron in check. They fronted Perron everywhere he went.
You're right.
He had a hat trick, and then they kind of fronted him.
Did a box and one.
Sorta. I might see that a little bit this year. They also were willing to give up shots from the point, and saying our goalie's going to block those. We can't give all these easy shots in tight. And I just think they responded, man. Their first period, it was over. I thought it was, but then we scored 2, and I'm like, oh, it's 4-2. And I still think Blues are winning.
I do agree. I do agree. Well, guys, we want to go to a quick break. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit more, maybe some sports, and then we'll close it out for the evening.
We got to talk about the Cardinals.
I would agree.
You guys, Miller dissed on, or was it you, McVey, that dissed on my bro Neil?
No, I believe that was Kevin.
Oh, yeah, it was Kevin. Dissed on Bro Neil, and look what Bro Neil did. He heard you, Kevin. He heard you loud and clear. And he hits it out of there with a third eye. You see him? He looked at it, too. I was happy.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break.
Come on. Have some fun, Blair. You're so boring.
Hey, you're watching the Coach's
Come
Box,
on.
where we call
boring.
it like we see it. We'll be right back.
Whether it's residential or commercial, Home by SMCI has the right products for you. Global Plasma Solutions will attack your bacteria, mold, viruses, and even help with dust in your house. They install easily in less than 45 minutes, and it's invaluable for the rest of your life. If you're interested in any of the products they offer, give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Wiley Agencies has 2 locations in Festus and Hillsborough to serve you. We offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and much more. We offer a customized approach unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. We also offer great rates and savings. Give us a call today at 636-764-6294 for the Festus office, or 636-333-9903 for the Hillsborough office to do an insurance review or just talk sports. If you don't have time to call, feel free to email Sean at seanwiley@allstate.com.
No time to eat in? No problem. Don't feel like cooking? We'll do it for you. Need wings for your party? TJ's Bar and Grill has got you covered. TJ's is a local mom and pop establishment in Peevely, Missouri, known for their own homemade pizza sauce, barbecue sauce, and their famous TJ's wing sauce. Open 7 days a week, they are family friendly, biker friendly, and locally owned. Come by or order by phone with your credit card at 636-475-3648. TJ's Bar and Grill. We're glad you stopped by.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let Kelly Kaufman move you. Kelly Kaufman of Real Living Gateway Real Estate brings a fresh approach with an honest, innovative, aggressive, and junk-free fee experience for all her customers. Whether you're a first-time buyer or an experienced seller, Kelly Kaufman has the tools to deliver the best client experience in the industry. Give Kelly a call today at 314-221-6090 and let her move you. Are you looking to buy or sell a home? If so, contact Stacy Miller at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Stacy works with first-time home buyers and savvy sellers. She also specializes in working with investors, lenders, and title companies. Stacy will be there every step of the way. Contact her today at 314-606-1007 or visit stacyzmiller.com.
Need to plan a trip, but don't have the time or know where to start? Vacations by Michael is here to help. Michael Hicks is a professional travel advisor and can help you with all of your travel needs, including vacations, honeymoons, and even family reunions. Contact Michael today for your free consultation at 314-496-6122.
Emex Transportation is a proud sponsor of the Coach's Box. Emex, the trucking company of small business.
The Coach's Box is proud to announce a new show called On the Move with the Caravan, brought to you by Scoops with Danny Mac and produced by TCB Productions. It's hosted by friend of the show, Jim Powers, and On the Move with the Caravan will be catching up with area coaches to talk about their teams as well as hot topics in prep sports today. So tune in for new episodes of On the Move with the Caravan.
All right.
We're back.
We are back live here at St. Pius X High School. How you like that, Jarvis? Doing all right?
Hey,
Hey, what do you think Chris is doing right now?
Oh, probably still playing easy mode.
I think at this point, what time? It's after 9 o'clock. He probably drew himself a nice little bubble bath, put little candles right on the shelf. He's got himself a Daniel Steele novel that he's going to read while he's taking a nice bubble bath.
a big old glass of Bush Apple.
Got him set. He's got his wine out.
Oh, my God,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
an image I did not need.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
I know what he isn't doing.
he's not here.
He's not watching this show.
Nope.
I know, and all the slack I get for not watching the show.
Oh, goodness.
Not watching the show. I know why. I mean, I don't watch the show because I don't need to go back because I know I show out every week. I know.
Give the people what they
I know I
want.
give the people what they want. I call it like I see it.
We know
I
that.
say things that are questionable.
Never.
Highly questionable.
I say some things that could be debatable, and
A little bit of debate.
I say some things that may be controversial. But this is not controversial. You're batting 120, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? He's batting 100-something, and we keep carting him out there at shortstop. John Mozeliak.
Who are we talking about?
Oh, well, you know who we're talking about if we're carting him out at shortstop.
What is his
DeYoung.
name?
Paul DeYoung.
Young.
125.
I mean, the thing that you sent today says it. We're still trying to figure out what we have here with DeYoung. How long? Hey,
how many years?
Guess what? We signed Dexter Fowler. It sounds like the same recording over and over. This is a tirade. I'm having a tirade.
Having a conniption
Get
fit.
DeYoung's butt off the field. Send him to the minors. Whatever the heck you got to do. You put your second baseman, Edmund, who's played shortstop his entire life anyway, and you put him at short, and you bring up Gorman, who's mashing.
His clock.
Because this is what, we can't have Mike Schilt as manager. He doesn't look at analytics. Well, what the hell analytics are you looking at?
Not batting average.
He's
I thought
fielding.
He was getting close. I'm like, you better
He
get
said
that view.
it's getting close
Yeah.
to, his defense. Oh, shut up.
Cardinals are going to miss out on his defense. It's so good.
Well, here's the thing, right? Okay, fine, defense. Go right up the middle. Yachty, we kind of just said it. Hey, at least he's getting going here. He's batting about $1. What is he? Just now because of the hit.
He did just hit a Dong Johnson, but
yeah,
thank God because I needed the fantasy points. He's been god awful, and I didn't draft a catcher until it was way too late, and then I ended up with Yachty Homer. But yeah, we got him, and you got DeYoung, and you got. I mean, Carlson's struggling right now.
Yeah, he's at 184.
I mean, I'm fine with Bader. I'm fine with what he's done. I don't even know what he's batting.
It's defense.
The thing I'm talking about is the defense doesn't really need to. I mean, let's be honest. The starting pitching has been pretty effective.
Oh, the starting pitching is
the
probably
problem
the
is-
positive right now.
The problem is we've had so many effective starting pitching, but we don't
score one or two runs. I mean,
we don't help them out at all, and so we lose the game 3-2 or 4-2, or
I mean,
or don't
I like.
Or don't go
I'm not
4-0.
dissing the Yepez call up. I'm fine with that. He played in right, had 2 doubles. I hope he's playing tonight. But I don't care about the clock. Quit giving me the clock. Quit giving me. We're trying to see what DeYoung's had his chance.
I say
Yes.
he's been up here quite a while. You know, it's not like this is his year one.
No, and what really ticks me off about the whole thing is you had a lot of shortstops out there this year. This was the year if you wanted to land your franchise shortstop. You don't think Arenado wouldn't have said bring Story in and wouldn't have been a happy camper? And then you got Arenado, and he may sign for some more years. And then you'd had Story next to him. Your first baseman's fine. I know he ain't hitting very well, but it's going to be all right. And then you would just have Edman at second. DeYoung could be a guy off the bench.
Yeah.
Why in the heck? I don't care if you're paying him $25 million over whatever years. I feel like it's the same thing we heard about Carpenter. It's the same thing we heard about Dexter Fowler. I mean,
don't harp on Carpenter. Gosh dang.
I don't want to hear it, Ron Rhodes. I know you're a Ron Rhodes disciple, so you probably have a Matt Carpenter bat in your closet too.
I do
Don't
have-
tell him what else is in your weird closet. But
Oh gosh.
I'm fine with Bro Neal. I know he's been bad, but he's going to be fine, like I said, and he showed Kevin what's up. He's going to be fine. You watch. He's going to mash 30-something home runs.
I hope so.
I hope. Hey, he's going to be so fine that they're not even going to deal with him in arbitration. They're not even going to attempt to sign him multiple years out of the arbitration because he's only had one good year.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't try to sign it. Say sign the dude.
Right.
But, I mean, you've said this is your outfield. There ain't much you can – I mean,
That's true.
There ain't we don't have much wiggle room there except Yepez, I guess. And hell, he just learned to play right field here in the minors. So
Newt Bar.
What about Dickerson?
Nudabar sucked.
down now.
Dickerson's
He's already
terrible.
gone. Newbar already put him down
They
there.
already put him back down.
Now he's having some success down there.
Well, good. Let him get some more success, and then bring him up later.
I agree. I totally agree.
But Gorman needs to be up. If we're analytics, we're numbers driven, and all this bull crap. Because I like Schilt. I was a Schilt guy.
I agree.
I just loved the way he talked. I loved the way. I just liked the way he did things. And your whole thing was analytics.
Well, he called it like he saw it.
Yeah, he
That was
did.
one
That's
of the
why I
things.
like him.
I
I like
agree.
people like that. Well, I don't like Miller too much. So, I don't know.
You liked him until he got this on his chest.
Oh, God. Yeah, he was much more pleasant when I was kicking his butt. He was a Grandview. But, anyway. I don't know.
As we sit in the friendly confines
I was
of
gonna say,
the X.
yeah.
Hey, you never know. I mean, I might have an X on my shirt someday in the, far future or something. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, and then you got Arenado, who's
You might,
blazing
if you're-
hot. He could be MVP candidate
Yeah,
for
if
it.
he
Value
is, he's
your
player of the
daughter's
month.
education, you would have her here already.
Well, Blair, no. Well, you know what?
Coach
I bet
Portell
might
lets him
start
shoot
her.
threes,
I
yeah.
mean, she hit a 3 the other day as soon as I walked in the gym. I would go to watch her 34 hoops game, and as soon as I got in the gym, man, I'm like, I wish Blair was here. I wish I had that on film.
Me too.
Yeah, you might have some parent problems next year, bro. All right, you may have some parental issues.
Maybe.
Oh, wait, you've already had parent issues anyway, but I'm just going to add to it.
Bring
I'm
it.
just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna
add
go-
to-
I'm gonna be that
I'm
guy-
gonna be the loudest
Stir.
one in the room.
I'll be that guy in the stands up there going,
Stir.
Your daughter needs to play over that girl. I don't know what Blair sees in that.
If I was coaching this team, that's what
If
I
I
would
was
do.
coaching
If
this,
I was
team-
coaching the girls and the
oh.
boys, I mean, your daughter would be, no, I won't do that, Blair. Now, if Miller was coaching them, I might. But, yeah, the Cardinals, I mean, the pitching's been a surprise. They said, Hicks has pitched well. Yeah, he ain't going to last very long when he's out there.
Well, they got him on a pitch count for sure.
I
I think
know.
it's got him at 65.
Why? I don't. Why?
Well, he's been hurt 100 million times.
But
Well, they say that he doesn't.
they had Scherzer
The
on.
way he pitches,
Right.
is
They
trying
ha-
to get him in a consistent.
They had Scherzer on PTI today, and they were asking about. The guys were asking him about, hey, do you like how they're handling pitchers now because you've been pitching 15 years? Do you see a difference? Blah blah blah. And he said, you know what, I'm going to say grew up in the early part of his career. When it's my time to throw, it's my time to throw, and I think we're trying to save pitchers' arms, but I think at some point, are we doing too much and it's costing arms? Because okay, yes, guys are throwing harder, but if you go back to Nolan Ryan era, if you go back to Greg Maddux, you go back to all those guys, I don't remember all of these injuries. And these guys are throwing 120, 130 pitches every fifth day. Now, yeah, they're not going 105,
and
103.
I'm gonna jump on this with Scherzer.
Okay.
And I thought Scherzer was kind of a jerk the other day when he was when we played him.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I would rather have that jerk in our dugout. But anyway, that's a
Uh-huh.
whole other that I can
Yeah.
talk
he
about.
got kicked out of a game the other day.
He did.
On the bench.
He did.
For
Good.
arguing balls and
He
strikes.
deserved it, probably. But anyway,
He said he did.
but why?
In his
Yeah,
interview
maybe
today, he
we're
said
doing more. I mean, some of these relievers, some of these pitchers, they need to pitch more.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason why they are getting hurt is because we are coddling the crap out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying
We're not letting them do their job.
I don't know. I've seen some kids, and it's all about. I mean, everyone's arm's different. We got I've seen a kid. I've been watching him since probably third or fourth grade. I wouldn't even want to think of how many innings he's pitched and he's caught since then. But he's still doing it like it's nothing. I mean, some arms are just different than
They
others.
are.
But I do not know that it's good. Oh, well, he's been rested for 5 days. All right, bring him back in there and let him throw 100 miles an hour. And maybe he's a reliever. Say he's been resting. Well, we got to rest him an extra day. So we gave him 3 days off, and he comes out there and he throws, and then his arm's sore. Well, he hadn't done. I don't know. I think we coddle him too much.
What's the analytics?
Well, I'm sure that plays
and
a part of it.
It's choosy.
Righty, lefty,
I love how
lefty.
picky and choosy they are about how they use the analytics.
But
you go.
everybody criticized Tony La Russa for doing what he did. He always went off the books and the numbers and set matchups, and I mean, he went off of that stuff. And you never really heard anything about it, except for the naysayers that didn't like it because he controlled the game. But
He ain't like batting the pitcher eighth. Oh,
yeah, but the whole point of it is that this has been going on forever. They're just trying to utilize it now for their own good because they want to think that the game has changed. I don't think the game's changed at all.
So Chris and I,
It's the way
who's
you
not
placed
here, by the way, so we
Yes.
couldn't
Yeah,
talk
he's
about it.
still at home eating bonbons or whatever he's
you
doing.
know,
Candlelit.
yeah, we talked about this earlier this week.
Rose petals in his water.
Lavender, all that stuff.
Incense burning.
But we actually kind of talked
With
about
his Chardonnay glass.
yeah,
With his pinky out.
yeah. But we were kind of talking about how all of this has changed the game. No, it hasn't, because at the end of the day, you know what you do? You throw the ball, you catch the ball, you hit the ball.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the pitchers have this much info. So do the batters. At the end of the day, a pitcher has to throw a physical pitch at the strike zone.
Correct.
And if you have the correct, I think all of this analytics stuff, I think it has hurt the batters because what are they going up there doing? Thinking. Bull Durham, don't think. It only hurts the ball club.
No,
right.
Go
see
up there,
ball, hit ball.
See ball, hit ball. Take the correct approach. 2 strikes. Widen out, scoot up, choke up, go opposite field.
My son's in kind of a slump right now. He's been struggling. He's been really hard on himself. I'm like, dude, just see ball, hit ball, dude. Don't
Make it
don't
simple.
Get.
Yeah.
And he's had some bad luck too. He's crushed a few balls that one was foul, one was right. You know, he's hit 2 or 3 right at people. I'm like, dude, they'll come. Just take good swings and see ball, hit ball. You know, and I don't know. Analytics, we may go a little too much sometimes.
Oh yeah.
He's talked. Winkler, what's your thoughts on the WAR analytic?
Oh, wants to know our thought on it?
Yeah, on WAR.
Wins above replacement. Are you replacing him? No, he's an everyday starter. Then who cares? Once again, you go back to, are they a 5-tool guy? Do they hit for average? Do they hit for power? Do they have speed? Do they have an arm? You know, all of the 5 tools.
I don't know
right?
that. I think DeYoung's hitting like 1.5 tools right now.
Yeah, and so I'm going
I'm
to continue
so
to say,
aggravated about it.
we said, what are the Cardinals going to win before the year started? And they're going to win 90. They're going to blah blah. They're not. Their roster is not created or suited for the game that they want to play.
Nope, you're right.
And I'm going to continue to say that. You look at the Brewers, and everybody in that order, you worry about. Honestly, are you worried about Paul DeYoung right now beating you?
No, I'm gonna pitch around the people in front of him
Okay.
to get to him.
Are you worried about Carlson?
Not right now.
No.
You're
Are
not.
you worried about Yachty? No. So, okay.
Yachty's one of those guys that pressure situations I'd be worried about.
Okay, that's few and far between in 162
Yeah.
games.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So your roster is constructed, which if that's what they wanted, you said pitching is doing great, pitching and defense. Okay, do you win? Can you win a ball game with 0 runs?
None of us. I mean,
No.
be honest. I didn't think Carlson would be batting this bad right now. I didn't. I didn't.
A buck
he
or
had
whatever? No, not a buck, but
I think it was too low. Twos.
I thought he'd be like 250.
isn't that sad that we're
4 or
sitting here
5
saying
home runs?
250 is good?
I'm not saying it's good.
No,
I'm just saying,
but it is good
But it
compared
is
to what
good
it
in
is.
2022.
I hate to say it.
It
but
is
it's
good.
true.
When we grew up in the
what
late,
about the
in the 90s,
baseball? You think the baseball's?
I think so. And,
Think
and we've
it's
got
changed?
time. I think yes. And they
Because there has
talked
not
about
been the home runs hit like they were.
No.
So okay, so
How many balls recently, if you watched the Cardinals game, have been warning track powers that normally are out?
and they talked about that. They talked about how they haven't had this many until I think either O'Neill hit one or whatever. It's been X amount of days or X amount of at bats since the Cardinals have hit a home run. Are they winning? Who cares? They're hitting doubles. They're hitting
Yeah,
jump
I
shots.
agree,
They're doing-
but
I think I don't look at it from the hitter's perspective.
O'Neill just doubled. There you go, bro.
There we go.
Bro Neal.
I look at it from the pitcher's perspective because it's like taking taking a phone that's that flat and trying to put spin on it, trying to do.
Well, and they're wondering why people are getting hit.
That's yeah.
The pitcher can't hold on to the gosh dang ball.
No, you took out the spider tack. We
Yep.
talked about that. You know,
You got rid of the lace.
the laces have never been there.
Yeah.
And you look at high school baseball, go to college, go to pro, and then you go to the majors, and there's no little to no seam.
Yeah,
And
that's
so-
what I'm saying. No
Yeah.
seam.
And so you have to allow the spider tack. You have to allow some substance. If your hitters are calling for it, no, I want that guy who's throwing 100 miles an hour at my head.
Be
No,
able to control it.
I want him to be able to control it. And if he strikes me out, then he strikes me out.
Makes it, yeah, does his job. Yeah, but I think it's just the way the game is managed is different than the way it's played. I don't think the game is played any different. I just think the way the game is managed, and not only managed on the field, but from the owners down. I think it's managed completely different now and I think the guys want to play the game the way it should be played and the way it's been played forever. But I don't think it's going to be able to get there anymore. I really don't.
Well, and you talk about
Sad.
the owners, you talk about the GMs. It's different because they don't look for a Tony Gwynn. And maybe a Tony Gwynn type doesn't
I don't know.
exist anymore.
Yepez just hit an infield single. Tony Gary,
There it is.
Hey,
Maybe those guys with high batting average doesn't exist. I sent another picture out, or maybe it was Kevin, I can't remember, that the MLB hasn't had this low of a batting average since the 1800s.
Whoa.
Well, why? The pitching obviously isn't that great if they're hitting everybody.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
It goes back to see ball, hit ball. What's your philosophy? Well, launch angle, home runs. Put the ball in play. Good things happen.
so something else I'd put down that, I couldn't get Blair to give us any topics today. So
I got to be.
I kind of felt like Miller.
I got to be the AP, the assistant producer tonight. That was
Oh, yeah, you're definitely Miller's something.
Assistant.
Something. Man, my arm itches. So,
cha.
Pujols. Is Pujols affecting the Gorman situation and him not coming up? And because if you bring Gorman up, he's playing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But you want him to be in the everyday lineup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they're committing. They want to commit to him second base.
Really.
I
They don't
mean,
want to make that move to put Edmund.
I
Well,
do, but I'm not the baseball guy. But my gosh, I'm just. What do you think the Pujols effect has done for the Cardinals? I think it's done well for Arenado.
I agree.
And I think it's done well for the chemistry of the team. And you see Yachty and Waino and him cutting it up, and you see all the guys going to Pujols. And I think Pujols has been very willing to share everything that he can with these kids. There's a lot of good, but will it affect them in the long run? Will it be more bad than good?
I don't think so, because once again, I go back to my comment on the roster. The roster wasn't constructed to win. The roster wasn't constructed to beat the Brewers. It just wasn't. It's not constructed to be a World Series contender. What it is constructed for is to get into the playoffs maybe, and because we have the best fans in baseball, we have the best fans, period, in any sport franchise, we're going to go spend our money and watch. I think it's going to affect the bottom dollar, the bottom line for DeWallet, and we as consumers are happy. Like I said, I'm happy. I'll go buy a ticket. I will go buy a ticket to watch Albert this year. And that's fine. But I have little to no expectation. Hey, right now, are they in the playoffs? How many teams get in the playoffs?
No, they're
Top six,
not.
right?
They're not.
Is it the top six?
Yes.
Then they're not in the top six.
Nope.
So I don't know. There's got to be fundamental changes, and that's from the top. That starts from the top. But hopefully they get on a hot streak. Hopefully some of these young guys turn the corner. Maybe the weather's had something to do with it. It's still, good grief. It's May and we're wearing long sleeves at high school baseball games. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy. Well, what else we got, you guys? Else we want to?
I don't think we put this out there enough today because Chris isn't here and he's the marketing creator, genius, all those
The
things.
guru.
Writer, director, producer,
Everything.
all
Anyway.
that, starring.
If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel,
Yes, right here.
you probably ought to do that.
Yes.
If you have not liked our page, you're so far behind right now.
You're 1,500 people behind. 1,500 people behind.
So if you haven't done that, do so. If you've never shared the show, just share it out on your page. I'm not telling you to do like me and be tacky and share it to every group you have and then accidentally share it to the wrong group and people get mad at you. That type of thing.
Never.
But share it out there. As you can see, we've kind of got a new thing going with the TCB. We're producing one other show right now with Jim Powers, and I could see some other things being in the mix here and there, and maybe broadcasting some more games when we're available. It's hard with all of us coaching,
Right.
but we like to get community things out there, and we're doing it cheap.
Yes.
I mean, we're doing it cheap. There's no paywall. You sponsor. Heck, if your school sponsored us to come to a game, we're not going to charge your fans a paywall to watch the game. The sponsor paid for us to be there. That's why you get to watch the game.
That's right.
And those are the types of things that we want to give back, and we love our sponsors, and we could use some more.
And I think that's the other thing that, we do this. We've talked about this, I think, a ton, but we do this because we want to get together and just BS with each other and have a little bit of fun doing it. A little bit of fun that started 2 years ago has now become kind of our weekly job, and so I think that, for those of you that are just now first time watching us, or maybe haven't watched us in a while, we try to do some different things every week. We try to talk about, maybe one week we talk a lot about local stuff, and then maybe we go, professional one week, or then we talk about, like we did in the first segment, had nothing to do with sports. But it did somewhat, but a little bit of it, most of it didn't.
We talk a lot about education. We call it like we see it, but
well, there's a lot of things that we do that we want to be able to give you, the viewers, an opportunity just to be able to hang around and listen to us. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know what you guys, but I hear it all the time. Man, you guys cracked me up the other night. Or, hey, I love that topic you guys talked about. Like, that's something that needs to be addressed more often than not. And so those kind of things make you think, you know what, we're doing this for the right reasons. We don't do this to make money. This isn't our livelihood. We do it because we enjoy doing it. We enjoy being here. The sponsorship goes to pay for the equipment for us to be able to put this on week in and week out. And honestly, that's all it goes for. So we try to upgrade. When we get a sponsorship, we try to upgrade our equipment, upgrade our opportunities to make it better for you guys, the viewers, and for the sponsors to have a
we bought our $20 cell phones that we use to broadcast with.
Right.
So a lot of good things we're trying to put out there and do, and
And that goes back to it. Honestly, it goes back to our followers. It goes back to the viewers. It goes back to everybody that tunes in every week. And like I said, we've said this for 2 years. You guys, when you started, never would have thought 2 years later, here we are still doing the show, and now we're expanding into other avenues.
Right.
And that goes strictly to all of the people that on a weekly basis tune in. So we always want to thank you and thank our followers and thank the viewers and thank our sponsors as well. And we just want to kind of continue that momentum. I know the school year's ending, and so we're kind of in the works with maybe trying to branch out. Like I said, we have the TCB Productions now, and we've got the show with Jim, and we're kind of tossed around maybe doing some other stuff maybe over the summer, definitely in the fall coming up here. And so we're excited for that, and we want you guys to continue to be a part of it.
Yes, for sure. And we appreciate everything that our sponsors that we have now have done for us, and will continue to keep doing for us. And I'll say it right now, of the sponsors that we have, I'd say 3/4 of them are year-long sponsors. To me, which it tells exactly what we're trying to do, and what these people, they see the opportunity to put their business out there at a great cost. We're averaging anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 viewers on a weekly basis. So it's just I know that's a big number in between them, but it just depends on the topic and what we're talking about. People.
Well, like this week, I'm assuming that this show is going to get viewed a lot.
Yes.
And the only reason I say that is because Miller's not here.
That's right.
And I haven't seen a Ron Rhodes sighting tonight, so I guess
he was on here for a few seconds, and then he
my
said,
gosh.
"Hi guys," and then went off. Yeah, so
I'm disappointed.
he didn't say anything about
Get a
Matt
Matt Carpenter say. But we have some loyal listeners and followers, and we love that. And I get people giving me trouble about it all the time, and it's a fun deal. I'm glad we do this, and another good night.
It is definitely a good night, gentlemen. That's Been good. Been
Probably
fun tonight.
next Thursday again. I don't know yet. We haven't really
That's-
talked, but I'm assuming that's
Sure,
when we'll
probably
probably have the
be
show. So
Next Thursday.
maybe
we'll be-
Miller will actually show up and do his job.
And we'll be back at hopefully a La Pachanga. And
Yeah, get me out of here. A lot of blue and gold when I walk through the hallways and stuff. My stomach got ill and everything.
couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But guys, it's been fun tonight. Appreciate you guys coming, hanging out with us tonight, and those of you that were watching the show, and those of you that are going to watch the show tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday or next week or whatever it is. We appreciate you watching, and so guys, that's a wrap.
All right.
All right. Well, you've been watching the Coach's Box, and we will see
The
you guys.
Millerless coach's box.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good evening.